The birth point of some countries means their life will be simple and easy. In contrast, some other countries are naturally located in terrible geographic locations, such as mountainous and deserts. These countries are destined to have less development capital than others, as it has been assigned to hell since its birth. Laos is a landlocked nation located in the middle of the Southeast Asian peninsula. It is surrounded by Myanmar, Cambodia, the People's Republic of China, Thailand, and Vietnam. About 70% of its geographic area is made up of mountain ranges, highlands, plateau, and rivers cut through. Only around 4% of the total land area is suitable for farming, and forested areas have declined heavily since the 1970s due to logging and slash-and-burn farming where forests are burned to make way for fields. Almost all the rivers and streams found in Laos eventually make it into the Mekong River. On the Indochina Peninsula, the border between Laos and Vietnam is the strangest. Vietnam is like a dumbbell. The slender part in the middle is severely squeezed by Laos. On the surface, it looks like Laos is powerful. But in fact, a closer look will reveal that the boundary between Laos and Vietnam is a long and narrow mountain range. Vietnam has taken the rich coastal plain in the east of the mountain range, while Laos has contracted most of the mountainous areas in the west. The topography of Laos is largely mountainous, with the Annamite Range in the northeast and east and the Luang Prabang Range in the northwest, among other ranges typically characterized by steep terrain. Elevations are typically above 500 meters with narrow river valleys and low agricultural potential. This mountainous landscape extends across most of the north of the country, except for the plain of Vientiane and the plain of Jars and the Xiangkhouang Plateau. In fact, the geographical environment of southern Laos is still not optimistic. The mountains are all over, forming various barriers, which is extremely unfavorable for development. Vientiane, the capital of Laos, is located on the Mekong River plain in the northern part of Laos. But interestingly, Vientiane is located on the border between Laos and Thailand. As the main political center, the capital should be the city that needs the most protection in a country, so few countries choose the capital on the border. But Laos has no other choice. To build a city that can feed a large population, abundant water and fertile plains are indispensable. Looking at the whole country, Laos has only Vientiane. Lesotho is also a mountainous country, but it is worse than Laos because it is a country inside a country. The whole country is surrounded by South Africa. Country inside a country means the whole country is enclaved by another country, forming a structure similar to a ring. Similar countries include the Vatican and San Marino. However, both the Vatican and San Marino are raised in Italy, so life is not bad, but Lesotho has no such good luck. Once, Lesotho and South Africa were British colonies and were protected by the British. When South Africa became independent, Britain had left Lesotho to decide whether to merge with South Africa, but Lesotho rejected this proposal. 5 years after South Africa's independence, Lesotho became independent from Britain, and it began to appear on the world stage as a country. South Africa has no reason to annex Lesotho. No rivers are leading to the sea in Lesotho, and the dense mountainous area also restricts the development of the aviation industry. All trade and exchanges at home and abroad rely on South Africa. These factors determine that Lesotho will not be a rich country. Moreover, for years after Lesotho's independence, the country began endless coups, and the unstable regime made the poor Lesotho even worse. Even if South Africa has really thought to annex Lesotho in the past, it probably doesn't think so anymore. The despair in Tajikistan is another form of despair, fragmentation. The eastern part of Tajikistan is full of mountains and plateaus that are difficult to develop. The only two plains in the western part are also separated by mountains. The east and the west are only connected by a road. This situation has caused a severe problem such as inconvenient traffic, goods cannot circulate effectively, and highways in the central part of the country are generally cut off. The eastern and western cities of Tajikistan will directly become two isolated islands. In fact, not only Tajikistan, but several countries in Central Asia are facing similar troubles. The land can be used is limited and the terrain is too fragmented. For such a small country located in a specific regional center, is it possible to follow the example of Singapore and develop with the help of geographic strategic advantages? The answer is no. The eastern part of Tajikistan that borders China is located in the inaccessible Pamirs. The southern part is adjacent to the bombing country Afghanistan. The more fertile northern region is intertwined with neighboring countries, making it difficult to protect itself. Therefore, Tajikistan has almost no strategic value in geography. Saudi Arabia ranks 13th in terms of land area in the world. However, over 90% of such a large piece of land is desert, and there are no natural rivers and lakes. Saudi Arabia's agriculture completely relies on center pivot irrigation technology to extract underground water for its livelihood. Arabs have no water on the ground, but there is oil under the ground. Many oil-producing countries in the Middle East, such as Iran, Kuwait, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates, have similar natural environments to Saudi Arabia. They all rely on oil to survive. In North Africa, there is a country with a geographical environment similar to Saudi Arabia, Western Sahara. However, the Western Saharans are properly Africans. They have no water on the ground and no oil under the ground. Western Sahara has insufficient financial resources to purchase center pivot irrigation system, and its living conditions are basically maintained at the level of drilling wells and burning wood. Some lands can nurture powerful empires, and some lands will only bring suffering to the indigenous people. The strength of a country is not only because of how intelligent and hardworking its citizens are, but also because the nation has a good birthplace.